Welcome back to day 4 of Everfest Flesh and Blood spoilers. This is day 4. We are almost done before we get to boosters and all the random cards that have not been given to creators. But before we get into the actual cards, 100% check out the actual creators making these videos. They put a lot of time and effort into them. Some of them are pristinely gorgeous and very insightful, so please do check that out. Also, check out our Discord. The link will be below. We're trying to get a bunch of people in there and get that thing rocking and rolling. But without further ado, let's jump into the cards. Alrighty, we have ourselves Amulet of Assertiveness. This is from Ravewin, great creator, one of the original guys making content for this game. But this is a yellow pitch, 0 cost generic action item. It says go again, attack reaction, destroy Amulet of Assertiveness. Target attack gains when this hits. Banish the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card, you may play this in this turn. Activate this ability only if you have 4 or more cards in hand. So a pretty restrictive corner case card in the sense that you're going to be having to play this some way out of the arsenal or something out of the arsenal to throw an attack out there. Or you have a big intellect boost from the previous turn, or somehow draw cards that turn to go up to that 4 and still have something to play out of your hand. But I don't know the cases where you really want to use this, because they're likely going to be an aggressive, like 0 cost, like easy to play cards, right? But it's kind of, you don't really necessarily need that in those decks, because a lot of them, like if we look at the Cheerios Briar deck, which would have been like brutal if it was like pre-bans, this would have been bananas, because there's maybe some snatches that you play earlier, try to draw an extra card with this sort of thing. But it's gonna be hard to really make this matter, because you're already going to be playing things that are going to be low cost anyways. So it's sort of like this, like, well, do I even bother, because I'm already going to have go again and low cost cards anyway. So that's where it sort of like doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the amulet is pretty brutal in itself. Looks like an actual weapon, stabbing things, stuff like that. So that would be this particular one. I'm not really sure what it's going to do. Limited play, I imagine, in some other decks. But let's get on to the next guy. This is from Dan. This is Talisman of Recompense. This is a yellow pitch, 0 cost generic action item again. It says go again. Whenever you pitch a card, if you would gain exactly 1 resource, instead destroy Talisman of Recompense and gain 3. So a little bit also of a corner case card, because it is specific to just pitching 1. It's kind of odd. It also isn't a may you must do this. So if you don't need the extra resources, it's going to be kind of obnoxious, because you're going to pop this and be like, cool, got all these resources and I don't have anything to do with them. So in that regard, it's a little bit corner case there. The go again is nice. It's nice to have that. You don't really want to play an item. A lot of the old items you didn't. Just play them out. Cool, that's the end of my turn. Or that's all I could do. It's all I had left in my hand. They don't block, so you left it in your hand, something like that. But maybe these items are really just meant to be for PvE. Because we don't really know what the strategies or types of decks will be fighting with this PvE thing that LSS is making. We're pretty sure they're making one. We don't really know what it's actually going to be doing. So maybe you're going to be able to have some things that don't block in your hand. It'll be okay. It'll be random attacks for if you're playing with multiple people, something like that. So maybe that's where these are really fitting in. That's why I think that mystery thing in quarter 2 is definitely going to be a PvE thing, just because it makes a whole lot more sense with this set coming out. Because a lot of these you can't stick a lot of them in your deck in competitive games, because they're just going to not block and you're going to be like, cool, that was awful. I mean, yeah, they pitch well for the most part, but probably not going to see a whole lot there. All right, on to Findel's Library with Earthlore Barney. This is a card that will definitely see a whole lot of play. So it says it's a Guardian Equipment chest, defense for 2, has temper, so not the best, but it's a majestic, so you can't always have everything. So whenever you draw a card from the effect of an action card, create a seismic surge token for each card drawn this way. So this is, it's like the majestic version of our tectonic plating. But I think a lot of cases this can actually be better. There are definitely some ways, Guardian and non-Guardian specific, to draw some cards. I mean, if you're playing Bravo, you get some show times. You're gonna be drawing some cards there. There's definitely ways to brutalize this. I mean, there's gonna be things like with symmetrical effects of drawing card you and your opponent. This is sort of a way to offset that symmetrical effect. That's not too bad. We'll also see some things later that will make this a little bit better with a temper as well. So I love this. I think it's really exciting, and I think you can get some crazy powerful. Maybe this is like really meant for Blitz to really power out some crazy turns. Obviously, Valda is a perfect match for this, right? Because she's all about drawing cards anyways. So I'm really excited to see how people can experiment with that and have Valda really just be that much more brutal and exciting and aggressive, because you don't have to pay these high prices for these cards. Plus, we're seeing Heave, right? This new mechanic where you get to offset the cost of something by arsenaling it and pitching things. I love it. I think it's really cool. Very exciting to see what happens with that. I also think that might be the Fabled in the chest piece there, like that gem. So that's pretty cool. All right, on to a arguably just as powerful another majestic. This is Mask of the Pouncing. This is from Steel Fur. This is a headpiece, defense for 2 with blade break. So not the best blade break, just blocks once and it pops. But it says when an attack action card you control hits, you may destroy Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. If you do, search your deck for an attack action card with 2 or less power, banish it, shuffle. You may play it this turn. Quite powerful to go search up things. This seems like a great thing for Benji. Obviously, the 2 power is really where you want to be in Benji for the most part. This is, it's a good thing that this is not something other than a headpiece, because if you have this and Mask of Momentum, that's just like, whew, so much card draw, it's ridiculous. So I like that they do have a power cap, and again, that's why it leads more towards Benji and lower powered things in Ninja. I think this also works really well with those new Ninja cards that Kugane had spoiled, the 100 Winds and the Winds of Eternity, because the Winds of Eternity is base 2 as the only majestic version of that card. The 100 Winds, there's the yellow and blue version, and they're both 1 and 2 power. The red one's 3, so you can't search it up, but if you're playing 100 Winds, a couple of those, and then you want to go search up that Winds of Eternity card, you can do that with this. So there's definitely a lot of ways to abuse this, I'm sure. I'm sure we will see people taking some extraordinarily leaps and bounds with this sort of thing. So that, pouncing, sorry, making extreme pounces with this. So I'm excited to see how much more exciting and brutal that this card can make Ninja. So I also love the background. Like there's all these like leaves falling and stuff like that. So very cool. Very, very cool. I also don't see how this could be, when you're in battle, going to block for anything, right? Because it's like this mask that looks like it's very delicate, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Moving on. All right, we have, this is from Dead Summer Art. This is Revel and Runeblood. This is a fantastic video. If you have not seen this video, it's a work of art. It's definitely a work of art. He is a lore-focused channel, and he spends a lot of time. He does a lot of effects. It's gorgeous. He weaves a lovely story, so please check out this video. But the card also pretty dang good. So red pitch, 0 cost, Runeblade action, defense for 2. Says, if you have played an attack action card and another non-attack action card this turn, create 4 rune chants. At the beginning of your end phase, destroy all rune chants you control, go again. So obviously, if you haven't played an attack and a non-attack, this will literally do nothing but blow up your rune chants. So garbage in that respect, right? Defense for 2, also kind of not great, but that's normal for non-attacks. If you have played it, you're gaining 4. It's great. You just got to make sure you can follow up with an attack. So you have to have sort of a non-attack, an attack, and then this, and then do something else to actually throw those rune chants at your opponent. So there's definitely some ways to do it, just like literally back of the napkin math. We're seeing good stuff with the new gloves here too. So like just picture this, like we throw out a Mordred-Tide, then we throw out, then we throw out a Spellblade Assault. Doesn't matter what color. Somehow give that go again, right? So we have 3 from the Spellblade Assault, 2 from the Mordred-Tide trigger on Viscerai for playing Viscerai, and we're going to try that for this example. Crack your gloves, that's 3 more, so we're up to 5 plus 3 is 8, right? Yeah, up to 8 now. Then if we then we play this, that's 5 more, that's 12, something like that. My math's probably off, but like then just throwing another attack, that's not a big hand. That can be quite crazy. So I think that was really powerful, and able to really get some explosive turns. Like OTK seems like it just got a lot faster. The problem is that you have to have this when your turn is about to go off. Like that's the thing, is it's an all or nothing. It's you get blown out or you don't. So I think this will be fun to tinker with, and I'm really excited about it. All right, next one we have from Arcbound Geek, Aether Wildfire, our first sort of, not first, exciting wizard card. So it's a red pitch, 2 cost, wizard action, defense for 3. Says deal 4 arcane damage to opposing hero. Just straight up 4 for 2. Not the best rate. Not the best rate. But if Aether Wildfire is played during an opponent's turn, until the end of turn, action card effects that deal damage instead deal that much damage, arcane damage plus X, where X is the damage dealt by Aether Wildfire. So it's really important that we remember that this is not the card. So this is going to buff however much damage this does. It's going to buff all those other cards, and it's not if those other cards hit. It's just a replacement effect on those cards. So we saw some things in Tales of Aria that were, if this hits, it deals an extra 1 or something like that. No, it just gets the bonus. It gets the buff from the replacement effect. So if this hits for 2, because they have Arcane Barrier 2, they block out 2 damage, whatever, then 2 is added on to all of the other damage spells that you're going to be playing. And I don't think, obviously, this doesn't really matter that you're playing this on your opponent's turn, because a lot of times you're playing things on your opponent's turn. So I think this would really be a great buff with Blazing Aether, because it sort of it's multiplicative in the sense of if you have multiple attacks, then the Blazing Aether gets buffed itself. So it's really quite a powerful key to this whole thing. So I think that it's very, very, very nice. So I think this is going to be C play. If you're going to be going to some armories and events and things like that, there's definitely going to be people tinkering with Kano to work with this card. So definitely keep an eye out for that. All right, we have Fabrica with Miraging Metamorph. This is a red pitch, 1 cost, 7 attack, 3 defense, illusion, attack, action. It says Phantasm, so it'll pop if it gets blocked by 6 or greater. When Miraging Metamorph is destroyed, create a token that's a copy of an aura you control. So a wonderfully powerful on-rate card, right? 1 for 7 is spectacular. And, you know, if you get in for some damage, great. You got away with, you know, a crime, whatever. If it gets popped, you still get something from it. Obviously, you hope you're not copying a Spectral Shield, because that would be kind of lame, right? But if you're doing anything that, if you have any other things that are nice on the board, whether it's like Genesis or Peril of Humility, anything that you're getting some value out of, that's really quite nice. So it's not just like, cool, this popped and I don't have anything to do. There's something more to be done. You get some effect. So in that regard, I think this is going to see some good play. I don't know if this is going to make Prism come back in spades, but we'll have to see. There's probably some other stuff in this set that'll help, you know, give us some other auras. And we did see the equipment, the crown, yesterday that helps when things go boom. So hopefully we can see some other things that are good to go boom or to get copied or ETB, whatever you want to call it. So looking forward to seeing that play. All right. Break Tide, second to last card. This is from the card guy. So this is a very nice way to top off the Rushing River and the Flood of Force, which weren't super playable prior. This does make it, you know, pretty dang good. I mean, you still got to play those other ones, which isn't the best. And this is only going up to 5 damage if you have that combo. 5 Dominate is pretty easy to block. I mean, early game, very easy. Late game, probably not. So you probably want to save these, you know, pitch them early, save them for later, get them in the end, and then where your opponent can't really squeak out the damage there. Because what's great about this is the timing. You have until your next turn. So Ninja's always about setting up the right timing, right? Just an extra card a turn isn't going to matter unless it's the right kind of card. Or I shouldn't say isn't going to matter. It's going to matter much less than for other heroes unless it's the right kind of card. Because most are combo focused, because that's where you get your extra power from. So because you get to play it till your next turn, it's really quite nice. Also, it doesn't specify whether it's an attack, a non-attack, whatever. So it could be a defense reaction. Not like you can play a defense reaction. It could be anything. It could be some like a sigil. It could be anything that you could play during the game. So it's really quite nice that you have the option there. So you don't just whiff and like, cool, great, now I have a card that I banished and can't play because of whatever reason. So it's really quite nice in that regard. Definitely looking forward to it. Also blocks for 3, which is quite cool. And our last one is from Fab with Freya. This is Microprocessor. We have our Data Doll specialization. It's a 3 pitch, 2 cost mechanologist action item. It says once per turn, opt 0. Or sorry, once per turn, 0, opt 1. Once per turn action, 0, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Once per turn action, 0, banish the top card of your deck. The first time you activate Microprocessor each turn, gain 1 action point. So you're getting the first one free, right? You start your turn with an action point, you throw one of these out, you get an action point back. The other 2 are going to cost you an action point. They are still doable, because it's not saying you can only activate Microprocessor once a turn. It's each of those get once a turn. So your first one's free, like any good dealer. Is this really going to make a difference in Data Doll? Mostly all this is going to do is some library manipulation. What that tells you is that, all right, well, how do I make Data Doll better? Well, I got to boost. I got to go boost heavy, right? Because then I can know what's on top of my deck with this, get stuff off, you know, if it's not going to give me my boost or whatever. That way you're getting your action points back. Probably going to be really comboed well with High Octane. That way you can probably use this a little bit more. But ultimately, is it going to really make Data Doll better? I'm not really sure, unless you can really find a way to boost well with this, or we see some other cards that are going to help gain action points with boosting, or some other, you know, positive effect. I don't really know if it's going to see all that much play. I mean, yes, it's just manipulation on the top of your library. You get to see what's on the top of your deck, switch some cards out, and then banish something if you don't want it. What is kind of nice is there are some other cards we saw earlier that says you can play things from the banish zone. So in that regard, you can maybe see some fun there. Out to that, it might make you more able to play non-mech cards in a boost heavy deck, because you can see what's on your deck. So you can see, oh, guess can't boost, or cool, I'm going to slap this card onto the top of my deck instead of this other one, right? So in that regard, it could see it making it a little bit more, you know, widespreading, being able to play some other cards that are non-mech in a boost heavy deck. But that is all for day 4 of spoilers. We'll be back again tomorrow with day 5 of spoilers. It'll be on the screen right now, I'm pretty sure, if I can find the graphic. But that'll be it. So thank you all, and I want to say cheers.